welcome back to the channel. Today I'm building a caravan park, trailer park, place for you to take an RV. This was part of a follower gift I was doing on Tumblr. I took some build requests and then put up a poll, and everyone over there voted on an RV, and I was like, okay, I can do that, but I feel like that's kind of a small build. And I've since like gone way over 500 followers, both on Tumblr and here. I think I'm at 1,000 subscribers here, which is crazy. For that to happen in the span of like a month. So thank you to everyone who subscribed and left comments and supported the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm having a lot of fun doing this and having a lot of fun reading through everyone's comments and engaging with everybody on Tumblr. But yeah, because I wanted to do something a little bit more, so I decided I was going to do like an RV park thing. I couldn't it's hard to describe or like explain what I was like. I feel like you can just get a sense of it, but like I wouldn't call it a trailer park. So but like at the same time, I don't know. Like I guess I would just say it's a campground, but there's not much like camping stuff. Like I built this in granite falls. So like, yeah, you would go here to go camping, but I didn't restrict myself to just doing like RVs. I decided to do, I think I did 2 trailers and an RV, because honestly, like trying to build an RV in The Sims 4 is like yeah, I can make it work, but it doesn't fit with what I like my game to look like. The only set that we have, like a CC set for like RV stuff, that actually has like the front of the RV, like the hood. I like it, but it doesn't match like the painting, like the siding for a lot of like this. I don't know, it didn't match, so I only did one of them as an RV, even though realistically I think that either they all would be or like 2 of them would be, because one of them I wanted to do as a trailer, and I ended up doing 2 of them as a trailer just because I couldn't make it look the way I wanted, because I'm a very perfectionistic about these things, and it wasn't working. I know that what you're seeing right now, there's 4 of them, but I did decide to do simply like just 3 because this video would have been really long. I think it's already like an hour, because I struggled with this build for some reason. Like I've never built, like I don't build in like super tiny spaces like this. Like I build in small spaces, but really tiny spaces. It's kind of it was a big challenge to try and figure out the floor plan, especially for like the bathrooms. And for one of them, I actually like redid it so many times, and you'll notice like a few little cuts here and there throughout the video, simply because if I kept in the amount of like trial and error that I was going through, this video would be like actually so long, and I'm already like annoyed that it's an hour, because I want to be cutting back on how long these take me, and like therefore how long the videos themselves are. But it's really difficult to do that when you take forever to build. Like I'm still doing the like floor planning and window placement and stuff, and I change stuff so much when I'm building too that like none of this even matters, but I can't cut it out without the video having really strange like stops and starts every 2 seconds. So yeah, the RV won on the poll. I was hoping the dance studio would win because I had like a fun idea for it, but alas, this is what we get. This is what I'm doing, and I did have a lot of fun doing this. I did really enjoy like trying new things and experimenting with different like aesthetics in all 3 of them. So I hope that like something like caters to everyone in a way. I hope there's a little something for everybody watching, and you know, you all enjoy an aspect of it. I wasn't intending on going into it with like a lot of story, but as I was doing them, I came up with stories in my head, and so you're completely free to take these and play with them and not like think about the story whatsoever. But I went really deep with it for some reason. I don't know. This first one that I'm doing here is one of the trailers, or I guess like I would say it's like in Australia we call them caravans, so like you can attach it to your car. Do you still consider that a trailer like in other countries? We don't call them trailers here, we call them caravans, so I don't really know if that's like the same thing. Anyway, so this was based on, because I used a lot of reference images on Pinterest, based on an actual I think she called it like a mobile home. A mobile home this lady had that was very like colorful, very like lots of pops of color, and it was kind of retro a little bit, like kind of giving a little 70s. I might be totally incorrect in saying that, but yeah, it was giving a little 70s vibe with like the teal kitchen, maybe 60s, I don't know. And I wanted to go kind of between that and a little bit of like a bohemian aesthetic. I don't know how well that like came out in the build, but it's what I was imagining in my head. So let's all just, you know, let's all say that it is, and let's not question it. But yeah, for this trailer, I was imagining that it's two lesbians who live here together, and I was kind of getting into this mindset of like everybody who lives at this like campground is like on the run, or like they're running away from something. And I think that the two women who live here are on the run from the law, perhaps. Maybe one of them did something that they weren't supposed to do, something very bad, and now the law is chasing them. And they've been in this campground for maybe like a year and a half. They're very used to having to pack things up and go. So I did try and show that with like having bags everywhere. And, you know, they are really attached to this trailer. Like they love their home and they'd love to stay here for a while. And I think this is probably the first place that they've come to where they've let themselves settle down and relax and kind of, you know, set up a little home in hopes that they won't have to leave. This was like actually, like the couple themselves were very inspired by, I'm gonna say this wrong probably, but there's a Sims 2 creator on TikTok who has like a lesbian couple who live in a trailer in Strangerville. I think it's Strangerville. I think they're called Pinot. I don't know if I said that right, but I think they're French, so I probably did say that completely wrong. But yeah, look them up on TikTok. I took a lot of inspiration just for like the like hippie lesbians vibe for this, and I tried to show and emulate that here. But yeah, with the story, as I was saying, I think that they're on the run from the law and they finally like settle down and are really letting loose. As you know, they've got their plants out. Maybe they have a cat or something. I don't know, they probably would. Lesbians love cats. I'm a lesbian, you know, I'm more of a bird person, me personally, but you know, cats come second to birds for me. So yeah, they have a very colorful and fun and creative home. One of them is into photography and they both play guitar. I think that when I was thinking, I actually am going to be making them because I got really like into their story and the idea of them. I think one of them is more feminine and the other one is more masculine. And I tried to show like that in the bedroom specifically, because I think the kitchen and the living area and even the dining feels very like very feminine, and there's like flowers and, you know, these bright colors. And then in the bedroom I went, you know, a little more rough around the edges. We've got like a plaid bed cover and it's a bit more messy, less put together. I wanted both of them to have parts of their personality like shining. So at this point in the video we're only just getting to still laying down the basics, but I'll still like explain what I did with this trailer as I go, even though you won't be seeing it. I also put like a cute little like blanket thing on the roof so that, you know, to think about them going up there at night together and laying down and looking at the stars. I went kind of like I feel like I went very like classic rom-com love story, but a little bit like, I might be totally wrong in saying this, but isn't that similar to like the plot of Rosemary's Baby? Or like there's, I swear there's like, it'll either be like female friendship film, which we all, you know, if you're gay, you know, deep down really truly is, you know, about lesbians, because it's riddled with, it's riddled with metaphors. Anyway, like for example, Jennifer's Body. If you've seen Jennifer's Body, you'll know what I mean. I could be completely wrong in saying that it's Rosemary's Baby, but I saw there's like a lesbian road trip movie where these two women are like, I don't know. Anyway, so one of them definitely committed a crime. Definitely. Probably, I'm not going to say the word because I don't know what YouTube's like restrictions are, but probably like the M word on someone. It was probably justified though. Like, you know, I would probably actually make a character who committed M unjustifiably, but in my mind, it was justified. And they are escaping a terrible situation and they're in love and they live in this cute little trailer together and they just want to be happy. So that's what I was going for with that. I hope that's fun to think about and fun to like see in how I designed their space. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy that. I don't know, like I said, most of you will probably just, if you play with this, you'll probably just play with it with your own sims and, you know, have fun piecing together your own stories, which I would love to hear like about any gameplay that you guys get up to if you use my builds in your game. Like, let me know, even if you're using the ideas that I express, because obviously I would say that, like, aside from the stories I'm planning in my save file, for builds that I'm putting out, like this one where it's just like a follower gift, like feel free to, you know, implement anything that I say to do with my stories. With my save file ones, it's more like, if I'm putting it out there, then obviously anyone can use my ideas, but they are like more personal to me. So yeah, let me know what you guys get up to with this build, if you play out that story yourself, or if you do something completely different. Just know just know that this was made with lesbians in mind. I need that to be known. It was very specifically done in that way, and I think that you can definitely feel that in the choices I made. I think for the second one I do in the video, we're not up to it yet, but I'll just talk about it because we're not going to get to it for a little while, I think. The second one is a trailer. No, sorry, it's an RV. The actual RV, like, which was actually the follower request that I did on this lot. I was kind of struggling because at first my idea was to do this one, which was the bright colorful one, and then I wanted to do like a grandma's RV, like, you know, your grandma permanently lives here or whatever. I was going to do like kind of a nostalgic one, and then I was going to do one for a man who lives in his RV, and then I was going to do like a family vacation one. So it would be like, I imagine this would be either a residential rental lot or like just a vacation rental, which obviously residential rental would work better, but like it's so broken right now. And yeah, I feel kind of bad for making this like something you'd have to use as a residential rental, solely because it is very broken. But I didn't end up doing like any of those ideas because I tried doing like the grandma core one and it was like I couldn't do it. I didn't have like the CC for it, or like I didn't like what I had, and it didn't work out. So I ended up doing like I was thinking back to like 2014 again, or maybe even like a little bit earlier, maybe like 2011 to 2014, like the Tumblr era of like wanderlust, you know, like when people were posting like, you know, those like photos of like a mountain background with like a fancy word on it, and then it's underneath it has like .noun and then describes what the word is. Like I was thinking like that kind of, you're like, you should be able to catch on to what I'm saying here, but like that, and then also like women reading Wattpad werewolf stories, which okay was me when I was like 10 years old, but like the aesthetic vibe of that. So like photos of girls, like photo, like, does anything I'm saying actually make sense? I'm thinking like photoshopped images of like those like sketched women with wolves in the background and mountains and like a grey fog. I don't know why, like when I think of these things my mind immediately goes to these like photos, and that's what I base my inspiration off of. It's just like random stuff that I remember from that era. I was going for like that vibe. Again, I don't know how well it came through because this is still The Sims and we're like limited, but she was kind of supposed to be like she's a solo female traveler, and she's really into, I think, you know what, I would say she probably was like a Wattpad writer when she was like 12, but now she's an adult and she's traveling around. She's been to lots of different places. She's really interested in photography, and I think she has like an Instagram account that she posts her photos of in like the film filters and like sepia, and she has like really corny captions like "you do you" or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, she's totally a female traveler, and I think that she's kind of a very secretive person, so you wouldn't think much. I feel like when you look at all three of these, like, they're not all trailers, but I'll just refer to them as such just for the sake of, you know, sounding like I make sense. I think you can get like a sense of something being not strange, but the story is very much there. Like with this one, you know, as I said, what I said, and then with the last one, there's also a story that you can really like visually see. But with her, I think it felt right to not do like anything overly obvious about her background or overly obvious about like what the point in her character was. It was more so that she kind of gives that illusion of she's just a normal girl making like YouTube videos or like running her little travel Instagram. But then there's, you know, she's still in that category of what I was saying earlier about everyone here is running away from something. It's just not obvious what she's running away from. So I did like do a lot of clutter in her space as well, and I made it obvious that she's a traveler. She has a cute little RV, but I didn't go crazy and give like any obvious reason behind why she's running away from something or like what she's doing, where she's going. I just made it like fit the vibe. So I hope you guys like that one as well, because I think that one is probably my favorite. At first I did this one and then I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna top this. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna go and do these other two RVs and make them look as good as this one, but I think the second one is definitely my favorite. I just think like, I don't know, I really like the realism in it and how it definitely feels like, it really feels like it comes from that era. I didn't like pick a specific time for the like this build to be set in because I didn't want anyone to feel like restricted in their gameplay. I would say the trailers themselves are probably pretty old. Like this one has like the typical wood paneling and the ugly like brown carpet, and then we have like linoleum and stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't say that they're like super, like, I wouldn't say like, oh, this is set in the 80s or anything. I would just be like, yeah, like this one's old and this one's new and this one's old. I think we're coming close on finishing up in this first one though, but I got a lot of comments on my, what video was it? I think it was my single realistic, no, it was the realistic American home. I got a lot of comments and a lot of you were saying that you want me to do longer voiceovers, and I'm just like, oh god, like I can like, yeah, I can make it work, I can make it happen, but there is still that problem of I run out of things to talk about. And a lot of you said like talk about anything, like it doesn't matter, but when I'm not doing the voiceover, I'm like thinking of all these things that I can say, and I'm like, I need to remember that for when I do this voiceover. That way I'm not just sat there like trying to think of what to say. But then I get to when I have to do the voiceover and I don't know what to say. So here we are. I think that one thing I do need to say is that, as always, like the builds have a lot of CC in them, but I do have to like occasionally, when I do these, remove some things simply because like for functionality in the build. Like for example, I think like stuff on the counters are like my biggest enemy in this game. I think I said this in a few videos ago, but I swear we used to be able to, like, our Sims could cook on the counter with no problems whatsoever, and now they can't. Like, you could have like a million things on the counter and your Sim would cook on it regardless of anything. But they must have released an update or something because they can't do that anymore. So counters have become like the biggest problem that I have, because like counters are one of my favorite things in the game to clutter. I love cluttering a counter, but I can't do it anymore because I have to like release these to you guys, and I don't want to get people like complaining about the counters not like being functional. So I do have to go in and remove some stuff. For this one, I think the only trailer that doesn't have like a functional counter, I think it's the RV, because I only had like one counter space to use because it's so small. So I just left the stuff on it and I was like, you know what? Everything else is functioning and fine. Like the tiny bathrooms that I do in this build, every single one of them functions. And I was so scared to do them because usually bathrooms as well can be really frustrating because they never function when you like have them in tiny spaces. Like you can't have a toilet right in front of a sink, it won't work. But I think I just like inched them back a little bit into the wall, and then that tiny little gap of space makes it so that they actually work. And I was very surprised by this and very happy with it too, because bathrooms in like trailers and mobile homes and RVs, they're always tiny little cramped corners. Like you can't and I can't remember the last time that I was in like a trailer. Like I think when I was a kid I went away to like go camping and we stayed in one of those little like mobile home places at campgrounds. Actually, because I was doing a lot of research, I had to watch like 3 different videos on people touring RVs because I couldn't figure out like the floor plan of like I just didn't know what to do. So I watched like 3 different videos. I can't believe people live in such tiny spaces. I think that I can't imagine wanting to live in that. Like I know a lot of people like really enjoy that, but I think I just have a lot of like, I've kind of grown up in like really, really small, I'm very claustrophobic, and I think my claustrophobia comes from having grown up in like tiny spaces myself. Like I spent a lot of my childhood being stuck in really cramped bedrooms, and not having a lot of like personal space or physical space whatsoever, and kind of living on top of everything that I have. And I'm currently also living in a very tiny room, and I'm not gonna say like, oh, it was traumatic, but like, yeah, it kind of was. And it kind of still is, like not having any like ability to move. So I couldn't live in a small house. Like I couldn't live in an RV or a van. I couldn't live in a car. Like I think it would cause me so much like discomfort all the time and like emotional anguish that I would like literally be claustrophobic every second of the day. So this kind of living isn't for me. But yeah, so I was looking at videos. I don't remember why I started talking about this, but I was looking at videos of people's RVs and stuff. God, what was I talking about? Was it just talking about how like the bathrooms? Oh yeah, because I couldn't like figure out the floor plans of like RVs and trailers. And when I was a kid, I stayed in like a mobile home place, and they have these like the setup of them, the I feel like the bedroom is always open to the kitchen, and I tried to show that in this RV, and then also the other trailer that I do. I tried to show the way the bedroom is usually open with like sliding doors and stuff. I don't know how well it came across in the build, because like you can't have a table against a couch, otherwise your Sims can't use it. So you can see like at this point I'm working on the second one. I'm using these couches by Dream Home Decorator, which I've never used, by the way. I've never had a single reason to ever use these couches because I don't like them most of the time, but they're like perfect for this. Like if you want to build an RV, I highly recommend you use these couches because they look exactly like what they look like in RVs. The only problem with them is they don't like work with tables, which I think is a huge oversight in EA. Like limiting like couch usage in this game as just being like for watching TV. Like it's a useless piece of furniture. To be honest, like it's a useless piece of furniture in this game. Like I don't know, I just wish that you could sit at the couch and also eat at a table, or you could sleep on the couch. I know your Sims can nap, but in the last trailer that I do in this build, there's only 2 beds and it's supposed to house four people. So I imagine that one or two of them sleep on the couch, but you can't actually do that in this game, which is just beyond frustrating. Like why can't we sleep on the couch? This is The Sims 4. This isn't Sims 2. Let's you know what, I shouldn't even say that, because Sims 2 had features that Sims 4 doesn't have and will never have, like sleeping on couches. Is that too much to ask for? Am I asking for too much? That my Sims be able to sleep on the couch and also eat on the couch when a table is in front of it? Because who here has, like, you know, had a couch pressed up against a table? Probably not a lot of people, but I was thinking more specifically of like times when I didn't have like a desk chair. I'm sorry, I'm getting real like poor person. When I didn't have a chair to sit at my desk, so I would just like have my bed pressed up against it. Although I don't even know if that's like me being poor or just me not having a chair. But I didn't have a chair because I was poor. So yeah, we should be able to do that too. I should be able to have a bed pressed up against a desk, and then my sim can sit on the bed to work at the desk. But I'm sure there's like a mod that allows that, which, by the way, does anyone know of any mods that allows your sims to cook on the counter even when there's like stuff all over it? Because I was trying to look for one earlier so that I could like link it with this download and be like, hey, if you don't want to move the stuff off the counter, just download this mod. But I couldn't find one, so we're all kind of screwed in that sense, and it makes me upset. I know that there is a mod that's like less collision or something like that, like your sims can like navigate spaces a lot better because they've removed some collision with items and stuff. And it might, I think they said it was a little bit buggy, but I might have to give it a look because I do play with a lot of clutter and furniture and stuff, and routing can sometimes be a problem. As I said, I did playtest like this whole, like everything in the build. I think the only things I didn't playtest were like some outdoor stuff, but most of it should be okay, or at the very least be a super easy fix, because I'd say the inside stuff is harder to fix because it's such a small area. But yeah, so I need to check that mod out because I don't want to be struggling with this forever. I don't know. Why does everyone want me to do super long voiceovers? Because we're 30 minutes in and I'm getting to that point where I'm like, what do I talk about? Like, are we all happy and okay if I say I do like maybe 45 minutes and then you can have the last 15 minutes to listen to some music and chill out and relax? Because like I could theoretically talk about my life, but there's nothing happening that's interesting in my life right now. Like I woke up today at 12 p.m, which is really bad because I have 2 pet birds and they need sunlight. So me waking up at 12 p.m. because I stayed up until 4 a.m. the night prior. And I don't even know why I did that. Why did I do that? Oh yeah, because I had work and then I came home. And I was working on this build, that's why. So I woke up, I finished this build. I played Fortnite with my boyfriend. Didn't have fun on Fortnite. This is my first time playing it as well, and let me tell you, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, not in like an unexperienced gamer way, because I've been gaming my whole life. Like my favorite games are, I think the first game I ever played on PlayStation was The Last of Us, and that is also still one of my favorite games ever. But I will not talk about The Last of Us 2. I won't touch it. I won't think about it. That game is nothing to me. And I also don't want to talk about the TV show because that show is also nothing to me. So yeah, nobody tried talking to me about either of those things. I will not reply. I refuse to engage with either of those topics. But yeah, Last of Us is one of my favorite games. I also really love BioShock and Dishonored. I was big on story games. And does anyone remember when it was like, and I think it's probably still a thing, but I think much less now, like over the past 10 years or so, people have gotten a little more understanding and less ridiculous about it. But it was like a crazy time when The Last of Us had come out, and maybe even like the Walking Dead game, when people were being like, story games are ruining the gaming industry. Just a crazy take. And you know, it was always coming from a very specific group of people, like who were saying those kinds of things. Because like, what are you talking about? Like, when did Portal come out? Portal came out like 2007. Portal has like is story rich. BioShock came out in like 2009, also story rich. Like, I didn't play any of the super early shooter games, but I don't know, did Halo, it wasn't Halo, I don't know, did that have a story? I don't know, probably, maybe. Maybe it did. Either way, like, I think it was just that they didn't like that women were in the stories. Like, it was always like what people are saying now about, it's in the same range about South of Midnight, I think it's called. Is that what it's called? I might be completely wrong. If I'm completely wrong, I'm so sorry. Actually, let me check, because I want to be right about this. I don't want to... Yes, South of Midnight. I was right. Okay. What people are saying now about, like, and I say people, but we all know who I'm talking about. Diversity in video games. I'm just like, wait, it's just blatant pure racism, 100%. And it reminds me of like the way that people were about story games. The only ones that ever got targeted and spoken about were the ones about women, or that had women prominently in them, because you would see videos of people being like, oh, everybody cried when they played this game that was about two men in the war, and I'm just like, do you see the irony in what you're saying? Like, I don't know. And they still make those videos, by the way. They still like come out and make those videos that are like, everybody cried when they played blah 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 blah, this game that nobody's thought about in the past 20 years because it came out in 2001. But yeah, I'm a big gamer, so it's not like I'm unexperienced and that's why Fortnite is confusing. I've just never played a battle royale before. Like, I played Dead by Daylight. I think I mentioned that once. I'm a big Dead by Daylight fan. Crazy game to play. Wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, don't play that game. And also don't start playing Fortnite if you haven't played Fortnite before. Don't get in the hole. My boyfriend has been addicted to Fortnite for the past week and a half, and every day it's Fortnite. And like, it's fine, it's fun, but I'm not good at it because I don't know how to play and I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't really enjoy, like, I guess the pacing of it. It's a bit too fast for me. You die a little too quickly and it kind of like takes the fun out of it. I know that a lot of people who play like The Sims don't really play other games, which I would definitely recommend. Like, expand on that. Expand on the games that you play. If the only game you play is The Sims, you're like living a very sad life, because The Sims, it's a great game and it's also one of the only like life simulator games that we have, but you're really limiting your options. There's beauty out there beyond this shitty game. I promise you. There's so much light you can find when you play online shooters. I don't know. Stardew Valley, everyone's played Stardew Valley. I can't recommend that one. So I think at this point in the build, we've come to almost being finished. I hope that, like, as I said, the vibes that I was going for kind of came through. I think we deviated a little bit in some areas, and I did, implement quite a bit of mess. I think that she probably doesn't show that in her like little vlogs or like her Instagram posts, but she's a bit of a messy person. She's in a bit of disarray. She is also living in a tiny space, so it can be difficult to keep everything the way it should be. I will have to say that the shower is different to, like, I change it basically. You don't see me do it because I had to do it when I was playtesting, but I do change it because it wasn't working. I don't know why that one, it wouldn't work in that space, so I changed it to one of those like detached wall shower things, and it still makes sense, so it's still fine. It just doesn't have like a curtain, and she's the only person living here, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so for the next one, I know we're still not quite there, but for the next one, I think probably is the one that I went the most story rich with. It came out of nowhere. It hit me in the face. Like, I went for a dysfunctional family with that one, and before anyone comes out and, like, I don't think anyone will, but just on the off chance that someone does have something to say about me deciding to portray like child neglect in my Sims game, I am a child abuse survivor, and if I want to portray child neglect, I am going to. First and foremost, this is a game. It's an outlet for storytelling, and it's also an outlet for people to portray their own experiences through gameplay and share it online. It's a medium of communication, you know? So that's what I decided to go with. I went for like, you know, a couple lives there with their 2 young kids, and one of them is a boy, the other is a girl. The boy's a bit older than the girl. I was thinking they were probably like 12 and 8 years old, and he loves his little sister. His little sister is like his whole life, his whole heart. I don't know if they go to school, maybe not, but their parents aren't really ever around. They're very absent. I think that their dad maybe is the most present. I think their mum is very like, she's just hardly ever there, like she's just never around. Their dad appears every now and then. They probably, you know, he gives them food and stuff, and they're not good parents at all. They're terrible parents, let's be honest, but he's probably like he's probably the better one. So the house is very nasty, and you'll see that when we get to it. It's in disarray. There's stuff everywhere. The yard is very messed up. I'd say that they're like permanent residents here. So we've moved on to that one now. So you'll see what I mean in a few minutes. They are the permanent residents here. So the other 2, I'd say the solo traveler in the RV, she's been here for maybe like 4 months. And then the couple have been here for probably, like I said, 1.5 years. But this one, they've been here for years. So they actually like are renting out this space in the campgrounds, I guess. And yeah, they live here with their 2 kids. And when I was building it, I was really, like I said, getting into it and really thinking like the little boy, maybe he, like, I think it's one of those things where I come up with like the little details that mean very insignificant and mean nothing. But I was thinking about like, maybe he like hoped and prayed that he would get a little sister or sibling so he didn't feel so alone. And then he did. And now that he's a bit older, he feels terrible and he blames himself for why he has a little sister. Because I think they both, you know, they're both very sad children, but they have each other. And so that's what matters. They have each other even though their lives are very sad. And they live in this little RV, and, you know, there's not a lot of hope for them, but also there is, you know. So yeah, that's the story I went with here. I think that's one I probably would play out just because I think it would be really fun and very like story rich and intense to play. I think I'd really enjoy like it would like, give me a good opportunity to get into the mindset of like playing with children more actively, because I'd say children are very like neglected life stage in this game. It's really hard to engage with them and actually have like fun, compelling gameplay because they're like there's nothing. I think in like Sims 3, my favorite life stages were like the toddlers and children. They were so much fun, but then in this game I feel like it either gets repetitive or it just doesn't have, there's no replayability with it. Like once you've done one thing once, it's like, well, what's the point in doing it again? But I don't know, I think when you create more I think when you create a narrative and you stick to it and follow it, and like you have story, like characters that are very fleshed out, it can really enhance your gameplay. Of course, some people are very casual with how they play and they don't come up with like intricate details and stories to play out, but I'm a creative writing major. Like I'm studying a Bachelor of Arts in creative writing, and I've been writing for my whole life, so everything I do is written with storytelling. So yeah, I think that would be like really fun to play out, and you know, if someone else played it out, I'd also be interested in that, like watching that, because God knows if I'm gonna touch live mode. Me and live mode are not on good terms right now. I'm not touching it. I haven't played in live mode like for like an extended period of time for a long time. So I played recently, maybe like a month or two ago, but it was for like 3 days, and then I haven't touched it since. I think the last time I was consistently playing in live mode was like April of last year, so about a year ago, because I have a Sims family that I have been wanting to play since like 2018. I know that's crazy. Like, what do you mean 2018? Maybe like 2019 actually? No, because I feel like it's, no, I think it actually has been since 2018. A story I came up with and characters in the story. And don't be fooled, it like actually is gameplay. So even though I'm saying a story, I would still be very much playing it in, you know, gameplay. I don't really think I'm one of those people who like just likes to write it and like share screenshots with the writing and stuff. I do actually want to like play it out as though it's like, you know, because it's on my game. But I have had that planned since 2018. I did play it once, but I want to redo it. Is that common? Do other people do that? Because I've done that like my whole life. Like I just get hooked on like one idea and then I just replay it again and again and again. And yeah, my boyfriend I was like making posts for my boyfriend on Tumblr on a blog that you will not be able to access because I privated it because it is not representative of how I play my game anymore. It's very like old, and when I look at it I'm like, ugh, like why did my Sims look like that? Because my style is like constantly changing, and I thought they looked good back then, but I looked at it recently and I was like, Jesus Christ, that is not okay. But I really need to get on that, and that's actually the whole reason I started making my save file, is so that I could play out that family. And I miss them pretty bad. It's been a really long time since I've actually sat down and like written anything to assist with where I want to take the narrative for them, but I don't know, I just don't have time for it. I've got other things to do, like laying in bed and working at my job, and doing schoolwork, but I'm not currently in school at the moment. I will be going back I think in like June, so expect like the pace of the videos to slow down because school takes it out of me. I'll be honest, I didn't graduate high school. Here I'm gonna get into like my backstory, but I didn't graduate high school. I actually dropped out when I was 15 or 16 because I had really terrible mental health problems and I couldn't be in school, and I spent about like 5 years of my life just like doing nothing because I was a depressed teenager with no support. With no support, nobody who could healthily push me into pursuing anything, because I was one of those people who didn't think that they were going to like live a fulfilling adult life. And I think that a lot of people my age experience that, or people just in my age range experience that growing up, thinking, oh, I'm never gonna be anything, so what's the point in trying? I'm just gonna sit around and do nothing for years and years. And there's a kind of like, it kind of messes you up in a way that it's hard to explain, because you're very like behind other people, or like either that or you just feel behind. Even if you aren't really, you don't feel like you are sitting in the same seat as everyone else in your life is. You feel like you're 10 years away from where they are. And when you're in that mindset of like, I'm never going to achieve anything, it's just really hard to get out of it and actually find the courage to step up and say like, I need to try and achieve something. So I didn't graduate high school because I didn't think it was like worth it. Like A, my mental health was terrible. B, I didn't think it mattered to do it because I thought, you know, it's none of it's gonna do anything for me. Like I'm just gonna fall apart. And then I spent like a really long time like in and out of studying different courses, because in Australia we have a like, I guess like a free study system. It's not always free, called TAFE, where you can do like courses in different things. Like I think they do like labor jobs. What do we call them here? I'm like having a whole mental blank. My boyfriend loves to say it because he thinks it's funny that we call them that, but I can't remember what it is. But like people who work as like plumbers and electricians, I think they do that there. And I was doing like a social services kind of something, social work, something to do with social work. But then I dropped that because I went through a really horrible breakup and I couldn't mentally handle it. And then after that I went on to like study for what was it? Why am I blanking on this too? I wanted to work in like childcare, so I was studying childcare for a bit, and then I dropped that, and now I'm doing creative writing at university because, as I said, I've always been a writer. Writing is like a big passion of mine. I more so enjoy poetry Though I think I'm a better at long form writing than I am at poetry as of late, because I haven't written poetry in like a year and a half, to be honest with you. Like, I'm really slacking on that. But yeah, so if you're someone who kind of is in the same boat as me, where you never felt like you were going to amount to anything, and like you weren't important and your life didn't matter and blah blah blah, and you're either coming out of like your teen years or like are in adulthood or at any point in your life really, and you sit and you think to yourself that it's not worth it to try, or it's not worth it to do this or do that, don't listen to any of that, okay? Like, it 100% is worth it to try. It is never too late to do anything that you want to do. Like, even if it doesn't work out, even if you change career paths a million times, or you study 10,000 different things, it like, sometimes it's not like, it's not just getting something done, it's just doing it, you know? And I'm not a motivational speaker, so I can't coerce anyone into that. And also, this is a sim speed build, so like, who actually cares? But I do think, like, since some of you just have me playing in the background, and someone actually said that they like put my video on when they go to sleep, which is really sweet, but so funny to me. I don't know, I think I'll just throw that wisdom at you, because if me, you know, the girl who had the childhood that I had, and then high school dropout, sat in a room for 5 years doing absolutely nothing, got up and decided that I was just gonna study the one thing that I'd always loved, even if it gives me nothing, like even if I don't become a published writer or I don't get a career in it, I'm still gonna do it, because the time will pass anyway. Like, it's gonna go. And have any of you seen I Saw the TV Glow? That's a really, love that movie, amazing movie, really good movie, and really tells you about like the importance of time. Like, no matter what, like, you still have time to do the things that you want to do, whether that is like, you know, in the angle the story takes of your identity, you always have time to embrace who you are, or you always have time to do things, as I said, that you want to do with your life. Anyway, back to the build. So I think like coming really close actually to the end of the video. Yeah, it's like 15 minutes left. Oh my god. So you can see in this trailer, I did really go for that kind of warm and cozy, but very dirty and cluttered, and you can really feel the kids kind of running a mess here. There's laundry everywhere. I think like the little boy, maybe he tries to do laundry, but he struggles because, you know, his parents haven't shown him how to do laundry. I put like bears and like teddies on the bed, although I guess, what do people in America call that? Like stuffed animals. In Australia we call them teddies, or at least I've always called them that. I put some medical stuff on top of the fridge. They definitely are getting like a little stool out to get up there and get all that down. I've got cereal. I think I also have like, at the moment I have this set as an RV, but I get rid of it because it couldn't make a match, and it was really bothering me because photos of RVs, they're like, you know, it's kind of, a lot of the time you'll either have one that's like the ones we have in game with the white paneling and then like the stripe. I couldn't find anything to do that with. But then there's also some that are like just metal shingles, and for this one I did metal shingles on the outside. And like the RV set by Hey Brian, it doesn't match, and that's, you know, just a little bit disappointing for me, because I would have liked something that felt a little more run down. Like, it felt too like clean. But yeah, we're putting in some dirt on the walls, and then I think we're gonna come around to very soon getting to doing the exterior. I don't expect anyone to watch like the landscaping part of my videos, because I think that the least interesting part, like, I do it last because I don't like doing it. I know it brings the build together, and most people when they build, they do the exterior first, but I just can't do it. I don't know, it probably would make more sense to do it that way, but it just doesn't work in my mind. Like, I have a very backwards way of doing these kinds of things, and you couldn't talk me into doing the exterior first. It would throw me off completely. because I'm constantly like overestimating or underestimating how much space I need. Yeah, so I think I might leave you guys off here. I think got like 12 minutes left in the video, so I'll let you just sit back and relax and listen to some music. I hope that you all enjoy the build and that you enjoyed the voiceover. I did talk about a million different things, because I can't sit here and talk just about the build for an entire hour. That would be genuinely impossible to do. As always, the download will be available below on my Patreon. Some CC will be included, some not. There'll be a Google Doc linked with the CC that isn't included. Again, as I always say, I don't want to have to do it like this, but I have to respect people's terms of use, or else I'm going to get chased down. And nobody wants that. So that's the way that things have to be. I'm hopefully going to be releasing another long play or another speed build soon, but don't expect it to happen too quickly because I need to take a little bit of a break from build mode. It is starting to cause me head pain. Yeah, so I will catch you guys in the next one.